So good morning, everybody, and happy International Women's Day today. So big shout out to all the women out there. Enjoy your day, whatever you are doing, whether you're working in an organization or whether you're working at home trying to get those kids off and ready for school or looking after them all day. It's just an opportunity for this day, and maybe this is why I'm doing this quick little video, is just to check in with yourself and just give yourself a bit of a pat on the back, to acknowledge the work that we do. And us women, we're always had that 110% expectation, especially if you're an owl. So please make sure that you lower it a little bit and just acknowledge what you do. And also a big shout out to men out there, because I know personally for me, I would not be able to continue on with my journey without my wonderful support from my husband. And I'm sure there are plenty of people who have their partners that are very supportive. But I just want to check in, because a lot of this day is also acknowledging women on what they do, but also trying to push more women into senior positions, which, don't get me wrong, that's a great idea. But I also don't want you to be that female who thinks, well, maybe I should go and, go up in the levels in my organization and push myself. And because sometimes you could also sacrifice things. Now, when I talk about sacrificing things, I'm talking about your own values. So we have so many goals in life. And look, in my organization, I was promoted quite early on in my career. So I've currently been on that particular level now for 14 years. So people always say to me, well, are you going to go to the next level? What are you going to do? Now, I also have 4 beautiful boys at home, ranging from 16 down to 7. So I work part-time. And I always find myself justifying, and this is what I want you to do, is listen to your language you use, justify my part-time status as if I have to prove something. I don't have to prove anything, because I know in myself if I am living my value-driven life. So having goals is not a problem. I'm all for it. Hey, I do life coaching, but it's important to have those goals aligned to your values. So if you value things within your own, with your family. So, for me, I want to be there for my kids, and it's hard because they're at that point where they're growing up, and I want them to be fine young men when they grow up. And it is a bit of a worry, when you spend so much time away from that you might miss opportunities for conversations. And that communication is really important. You want your kids to come to you if they're not going so well at school, or, they're struggling mentally. Now, I also, work in a support area with a lot of families with addiction, so they have a member within their family. And I see it way too many times that, they're just your ordinary family that you think there's no way they have that hidden little secret, and it becomes a secret when the reality is there are so many people that are in the same boat. And, we don't give people, some coping. Here's some coping skills. Go deal with those. We don't give those tools. But I guess, because that can be other videos talking about that stuff. But today is just really checking in with yourself and giving yourself a pat on the back, and try and catch yourself out if you keep justifying, well, I can't go for that promotion because, I've got to do this. Because if you want something, if you really, really want something, you'll make it happen, because that's your drive, and you'll sort out things that you can do to make that happen. But if you ask yourself, do you really want it? There are a lot of people that I meet every day that sort of think, yeah, now I've got it. I don't know, because we set these goals and we go, right, got it. Okay, what next? And then we go to the next one, what next? And they're not aligned to our values of what we want. Now, if you want to be at home with your children and be there in the mornings and be there in the afternoons, that is perfectly fine, and you are doing an awesome job, and acknowledge yourself for doing that. Please don't allow the other, influences around us that make us feel guilty. Like, I hear it every day of women that are working part-time and, you know, is there some discrimination sometimes? Probably, but the reality is that women are always going to earn less, and that's across the board of all organisations, because a lot of us are the carers. You know, in reality, my husband works in the same organisation as me, and I'm lucky I have my mum to help me out, but my mum's getting older too, and when she gets sick, you know, like, what do we do? And I'm sure you've all had this happen. And I just think this is, like, for me personally, why I now want my journey to be in another chapter where I can be more there for not only my kids, you know, because we can be there physically, but we also have to be there mentally for them as well. And the only way we can do that is if we're looking after ourselves as well. But I also want to be there for my mum and dad as they get older, because I think that's going to be a chapter in a lot of people's lives, is the caring responsibility for our parents. So for me, I really struggle with that. And you find these defense mechanisms that come up, and I'm trying to justify, you know, this is why I'm doing what I'm doing. But reality is, you know, yeah, money's good, it pays the bills, but can you still make it work? You know, and I can't answer that for you out there. I can only answer that for my own journey. But I just want to acknowledge everyone out there, you know, especially the International Women's Day, but also, you know, acknowledging the fantastic men that are out there supporting, because they're the parent as well. You know, it's, yes, most women usually are the ones that will take the time and be home with the kids. Unfortunately, we have to carry the kids, like, you know, have them. That's just a biological thing. But there are a lot more men, you know, doing that. And then they have their own, you know, challenges as well, where most men will put them down. So I just think it'd be so nice when we can start moving past those in society and become quite, you know, that's okay. You want to stay home with the kids, go for it. You know, and not justifying your role to stay home. Because I find that a lot of people do that. You know what? And most people that are actually saying to you, oh, well, what do you stay home for? You know what? Inside, they are probably so jealous because they want to be at home with their kids. So just remember that when someone's having that conversation, like, oh, look at you, you're part-time. Yeah, mate, I'm part-time and you're probably jealous. So look at it that way as well, just to get you through. But try not to, if you're a dove, try to protect the heart and not allow that to sink in, because you're doing the best job you can do. And as long as you're checking in, practice some mindfulness. So we talk about this balance of work life at home, but how do we actually do that? We do that by becoming self-aware, checking in with ourselves, making sure we're going okay. And if we're not, have a cup of tea and a conversation with someone, okay? And that's okay. So happy Women's International Day. You don't have to try and climb the ladder and be the next president unless you want to. Just acknowledging the work you're doing. And sometimes we just want to be validated. Sometimes that's enough and acknowledged. So enjoy your day, guys. Bye.